Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Tony. New research says staying busy helps you live longer.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. What about getting busy?
Oh.
What about getting busy in a Burger King bathroom? What about something like that?
Because if your heart's not good, you're living shorter.
I think my heart's okay.
All right. Now, I didn't mean you specifically.
I think my heart's okay. I'm old, but I think my heart's okay. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the NFL reconsiders overtime rules. Shaden Sharp dunks on the Wizards, and Buster Olney joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the Detroit Pistons, the worst team in the NBA last year, beating the Boston Celtics, the best team in the NBA last year. The game was in Detroit, and the Pistons won by 20 points. The Pistons have now won 8 games in a row. It's their longest winning streak in 17 years. They've won 33 games this season, already 19 more than all of last season. Wilbon, should we officially upgrade them from a nice story to a contending team?
Tony, I don't think so yet. I'm not being a hater, because the Pistons over the last week, with this winning streak growing, they have led me to text a couple of times my man, a good friend from Detroit, Vinny Goodwill, to say, what the hell is this?
Ironically, the other one in my mind took J.B. Bickerstaff's place in Cleveland, Kenny Atkinson.
Yes,
Those would be the top two guys. The Pistons in the last 5 years, and I'm going to go with numbers here. They won 20, they won 20, they won 23, 17, and 14. They fired 2 coaches. Last year, they tied the all-time NBA mark for consecutive losses with 28 in a row. So I don't want to get carried away here. They are a nice story. They're not contending for anything this year because nobody on that team has ever been in a playoff game from that team.
Yeah.
Okay?
You have to have your heart broken in that league more than any other. You do. Even the great players. Okay, so Russell, Magic, and Tim Duncan haven't. Everybody else, including Michael Jordan and LeBron James and Kobe Bryant and Shaq, they've been crushed.
They're years away. They're a nice story. Let's be happy. They're years away. Nice story.
Got to get beat up a little bit. Let's move to the NFL, which is once again considering revamping regular season overtime. Back in 2011, the league replaced sudden death with a system in which both teams take a turn on offense unless a touchdown is scored on the first possession. Well, it turns out that the team that wins the coin flip wins the game even more often under this amended system. In the playoffs, both teams are guaranteed a possession. So does reconsidering the regular season system, Tony, make sense to you?
Stay with me. I'm going to give you a bunch of numbers here, okay? From 2001 to 2011, that's 10 years, the percentage of teams that won it on the first possession was 55.4%. Then in 2011, they changed the rule to reflect what you just said. You can't win it on a field goal. Okay, you got to drive the length of the field. You got to do a touchdown. And so after that, from 2017 through 2024, that's 8 full seasons.
Yeah.
The team that wins when they get the ball first went up to 56.8%. Like, we're talking about 1.4%.
Right.
That seems much more random than scientific to me. Yeah. If you told me it went up 15%, I would have said, okay, change the rule. But I don't think 1.4% makes that compelling at all. I mean, last year, 16 overtime games, only 6 went to the team that got the ball first. That's only 38%. So I don't think you have to do it.
So it's more than random. It's insignificant. They're being a nuisance. And I'm going to go off here in a reason I'm sure you don't consider. The NFL just wants to be in your thoughts every day. They want to be on all these programs every day.
Yes.
They're a nuisance just like every other professional sport. They want to dominate your time and be inside your head and be on every show starting with Get Up at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah. That's what the NFL wants.
They're in your head.
That number is damn insignificant.
What I thought.
And so I pay no attention to nonsense like this.
Let me just say this.
Nonsense.
Is it fair that both teams get a possession in the regular season like they are guaranteed in the playoffs? Yes, it's fair.
It is.
But is it compelling enough? No. Because I would say, and you would say the same thing, and I know you will agree with me, we'll go old school. Should you be rewarded because your defense allowed the team to go 80 yards and score a touchdown? Should you be bailed out because of your lousy defense? No. And the answer is no.
No.
The answer is no.
But Tony, The fact that they're going to make all this big deal over that statistical measure.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Don't you get Aren't you resentful of that?
No, you know what I do?
What?
I admire a business that knows what it's doing. I admire that. We move to baseball, and the first of our video daily doubles. Colorado Rockies have a pitcher in camp named Jeffrey Yan, who has a unique way of celebrating a strikeout. Yan did it 3 times in a spring training game yesterday, including once after a robo-review gave him a strikeout. Yan jumps into the air, comes down in a split, and pumps his left arm declaratively. Wilbon, do you think Yan will have to change his strikeout celebration if he makes the bigs?
I think so. Although the thing that would make you change most quickly is if you had to go to the plate.
That's right.
And somebody Bob Gibson'd you.
That's right.
Somebody just looked at you, as was the case with the great Bob Gibson, and you knew you were going to get drilled or get back in the dust trying to prevent getting drilled. So he doesn't have to hit.
No.
So I don't know. Maybe he goes a long time. Maybe somebody starts a fight in the clubhouse. Maybe there's a trade and the guy who comes over, who he embarrassed, takes a swing at him in the clubhouse. I don't like this.
So I heard about this morning. And when I saw it, it was not as taunting as I thought it would be.
It's just a nuisance.
But do I think he's going to have to change it? Here's why he's going to have to change it. Because the first batter the Colorado Rockies send up in the next half of the inning is going to go down in the heat.
First batter, okay.
Going to go down in the heat.
So your teammates say, we're not having that.
This guy doesn't have to worry. He doesn't bat. Okay, he's never going to get up. He's a left-handed reliever. He wouldn't have even gotten up before the DH.
No, not recently.
But when a teammate gets drilled, the teammate is going to go to him and say, Mr. Yan, do me a favor. Do me a favor.
That.
Back off for this for a while. And by a while, I mean as long as I'm here. Just stop it. And that's what's going to happen.
It's comical to watch. We have 2 terrific plays to consider from last night, Tone. In college basketball, 8th-ranked Michigan State's Trey Holland beat 16th-ranked Maryland here in College Park on a half-court shot at the buzzer. And in the NBA, Portland's Shaedon Sharpe picks off a pass, throws down that enormous dunk in a win over your Wizard. Look, that's Julius-like. In an impromptu toss-up, Tony, better highlight Holloman's buzzer beater or Sharpe's dunk?
The dunk is a fine dunk. It's a strenuous.
It is.
It's a big, strong dunk, and everybody should see it. It had no effect on the game. Shaedon Sharpe's team was playing the Wizards, who are an abomination this year, and the Wizards would have lost that game without that dunk. They would have lost it without Sharpe play. Okay, because they lose every game. The other shot won a game.
Won a game.
Okay, Michigan State is at Maryland, a ranked team.
Yeah.
It's 55-55. It's going into overtime, and this guy puts that shot down. Okay, this is not some random dunk in the second quarter. No. This is a game winner. This is going to be one of the greatest plays ever at Michigan State in history, and they got a long history.
That's just
okay. So this is, if you live in D.C., this is like earlier this year, Jaden Daniels throwing a Hail Mary. This is a big deal.
Not like that. But I know where you Washingtonians are coming from. This was a scream out loud moment. You Washingtonians.
We Washingtonians.
I keep my TV on the Big Ten Network.
Yeah.
All day and all night, at least one of them, so I can see stuff that happens in Big Ten games. And when that happens, at first I'm thinking, is that from some time gone by, or do I need to turn the sound up right now? And then you realize, oh my God, this just happened.
The last time this happened with Michigan State was 2010. Draymond Green was on the team.
Wow.
That's the last time it happened. Wow. Let's take a break.
Coach Izzo.
Coming up, does baseball feel good about its spring training experiment with automated balls and strikes? We are going to ask Buster Olney.
We'll also ask him whether the Dodgers' success could spur a salary cap.
I'm not knocking the dunk. It's a lovely dunk.
Yeah.
The second quarter dunk against a bad team. This other thing wins a game.
It was a great dunk, but it had nothing. Meaning.
No.
There's no meaning.
Not in the context. We have some big baseball questions to put to our great friend, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball reporter and senior writer Buster Olney, who can do 2 things that Wilbon and I cannot do. He can milk a cow, he can make a bagel. Let's start with this.
I can toast a bagel.
No, toast a bagel. No, he can make the bagel.
Oh, yeah, slight difference.
Warrior guard Max Scherzer is skeptical of the automatic ball strike appeal system being tested, as you know, in spring training. What reaction have you been hearing to this?
So Max Scherzer is a future Hall of Famer, and I think in this case, his opinion is in the minority. People that I've talked to at the team level love this because they love the idea that egregious calls can be corrected, much as they have in tennis for so many years using electronics. Each team has to come up with their own rules and their own culture about who can challenge. Vinny Pasquantino, the first baseman for the Royals, for example, half-jokingly said no pitcher should be allowed to challenge ever because they think everything is a strike. But I think people absolutely love it. Baseball is talking about it being in play for 2026. I've had people tell me they wish baseball would use it this year.
Ooh, that could be sort of dicey. Justin Verlander, speaking of pitchers going to the Hall of Fame, told Bob Nightingale that baseball needs to do something to revive starting pitching. Buster, I love Verlander for being out there with this position, but I also get the feeling that baseball is not even paying attention. Am I wrong?
You are to a certain degree, Michael. It's been something that's talked about in front offices at Major League Baseball that they really do feel like they need to restore the preeminence of starting pitchers who for years were the Hulk Hogans of the sport. Everyone would get excited about a Roger Clemens versus Pedro Martinez game. And with starting pitchers throwing fewer innings and relief pitchers, these parade of relievers, them throwing more, it really has changed the product. Baseball right now is looking for ways to augment the offense and to get away from all the relievers who are throwing hard and more effective than ever. That would be important. But I think in terms of on the list of priorities for what baseball wants to get done, it's further down.
Yeah, that's what, see, when Buster tells us that, this is significant. All right, I'll move off that issue, which I could talk to you about all day. The Dodgers are so loaded that, of course, as you know, Hal Steinbrenner has said he's open to a salary cap with a floor. Buster, do you see a salary cap in baseball's future?
So in the time I've covered baseball, I've never thought that it was closer than it is right now. Ooh. This is something that the owners are going to push for in the next labor negotiations. I think the union will, as it always has, out of principle say we're never going to allow a salary cap. But here's the thing. I think among the rank and file of the players, there are more and more players asking the question, look, if a salary cap means more money for more players, why wouldn't we talk about it? This actually reminds me a little bit of the steroid issue. Back in 2000, 2001, the union leadership was saying, we'll never have drug testing, out of principle, privacy rights. And the rank and file players, what you heard from them was, no, we want drug testing. We don't want to have to be faced with the choice of taking steroids. I think there are a lot of players who want to hear what a salary cap would look like.
Well, so just to follow real quickly, but this seems so aimed at solely the Dodgers. Can it survive with that appearing to be the agenda?
I think that, the big question is how many teams will get behind it? And one of the interesting questions is going to be, will teams that just simply haven't spent, clubs like the Marlins, would they agree to, let's face it, a cap and floor system where they would have to be spending up to $100 million, $120 million? There are doubts among other owners whether the cheapest teams will actually lift their spending to make a salary cap work.
Yeah, it's the floor. That's
great.
The floor is their issue.
Yeah.
The floor is their issue. All right, we get you out here on this. On the Red Sox, Rafael Devers does not want to move from third base to make way for Gold Glove third baseman Alex Bregman. How is this team handling this?
Well, they're slow playing it. They're not saying flat out that Rafael Devers is going to be the DH, but I think in the end, their manager, Alex Cora, he's going to put the best team on the field. And I think the Red Sox hope is that Christian Campbell, this tremendous young rookie, will come in and play great at second base in spring training. I asked Alex recently, hey, who does he remind you of physically? And he actually said Jaylen Brown of the Celtics because he's so big, 6'3". There's a lot of hope for the type of offensive player he's going to be. So if he comes in, has a great spring training, establishes himself at second base, you get the best third baseman in the world, Alex Bregman, who can man that spot, and you'll tell Devers, at least for this year, this is our best team. I think that's going to be the opening day lineup for Boston.
Love to see that conversation, wouldn't you? Yeah. Thank you, Buster.
Thanks, Buster. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, some good medical news for the potential first pick in the NFL draft.
and the development in the push to ban the push.
Yeah.
Brotherly shove.
So I think Buster's completely right. I think that you think most ownership would want it to combat the Dodgers, but it's also, if they have a floor, a lot of teams are going to say, I don't want. Happy time, people. Happy 92nd birthday, Raymond Berry.
Wow.
History lesson, kids. Berry was the premier receiver on the great Baltimore Colts teams of the 1950s and 60s. Johnny Unitas to Raymond Berry is one of the greatest passing combinations in NFL history. In the 1958 NFL Championship game, the greatest game ever played, Berry caught 12 passes from Unitas for 178 yards and a touchdown in Baltimore's overtime win. When he retired, Berry was the all-time NFL leader in both receptions and receiving yards. He is, of course, in the Hall of Fame. Later in his career, Berry coached the New England Patriots. Berry was the coach of the AFC champion Patriots who lost to your Super Bowl shuffle Bears in 1986.
I remember it well. Other top combinations, quarterback to receiver passing. I'm going Young to Rice, and then I'm going Montana to Rice.
Of course you are.
That's just me. And I don't want to ignore Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison or Troy Aikman to Michael Irvin. Don't want to ignore any of those. Great combinations.
Hadel to Allworth. It's a long time ago.
Allworth, great too.
Not so happy anniversary, Southern Methodist University football. On this day 38 years ago, the NCAA canceled SMU's entire 1987 football schedule for gross violations of NCAA rules regarding athletic corruption. This was the death penalty. Now it's legal to pay players, then it wasn't. SMU was found to have given some of its players approximately $61,000 from 1985 to 1986, when that was a lot of money, kids. It later emerged that SMU had been keeping a slush fund to pay players as early as the mid-'70s. SMU canceled its 1988 season as well and found the road back very bumpy. Things are rosier now, though. In its first year in the ACC, SMU just made the college football playoffs, and their coach, Rhett Lashley, declared this chapter closed.
The first game back from that death penalty, they lost 35-6 to Rice. I covered that game for the Washington Post. You think you'd like to give some NIL money if you had some to Eric Dickerson and Craig James of Pony Express? Yeah. You think they can make a little bit of money at SMU now?
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
That North Texas NIL stash?
Oh, sure.
Born too soon.
Happy trails to foot surgery for Abdul Carter. Penn State standout defensive end was cleared by doctors this morning for his March 28th pro day. Until he got that positive news, Carter had been considering having an operation to address a stress reaction in his right foot, which would have put him out at least 2 months and possibly created enough concern for teams to drop him from the top of their draft boards. Now Carter's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, said, quote, "I couldn't be more confident that this will be a non-factor where he's drafted. He will put on a show at his pro day," unquote.
I might take a kid wearing number 12 in a uniform in Colorado who can play a couple of positions. I might take him over Mr. Carter first if I was drafting. I'm just saying.
But will you concede this, that if Drew Rosenhaus is the agent, it's the best quote in the business? Drew Rosenhaus is always going to tell you, oh, there's no problem here.
No problem.
Everything is good.
My guy.
He's going to go number
Your
one.
guy has a problem,
right.
not my guy.
That's what's so great. All right, let's go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Greg Popovich addressed Spurs players today for the first time. He told them he won't be returning this season. Your thoughts?
Tony, if Greg Popovich can return at all, great. If he's just well, great. It's Greg Popovich. He had a stroke in the fall. Just wishing Pop well. Jake Knapp shot an opening round 59 at the Cognizant Classic. I know you're impressed with a 59.
This is a 59. Yeah. Okay, it's 12 under, it's par 71. My friend DG was there. He followed it. He said there was no wind. Said there
no wind, none.
But still, 59.
But it's usually windy there.
NFL exec Troy Vincent said the league has found 0 injuries on tush-push plays during 2024. What does that mean?
You got to find another excuse to ban it. You can't use that.
You cannot ban it. No.
Japan beat the U.S. women 2-1, won the She Believes Cup. You surprised?
I'm surprised. Are you not surprised? I'm surprised because Emma Hayes had not lost a game as coach of this team.
Japan's number 8 in the world ranking. Where are we? Colombia?
Where are we? Are we 1, 2, something like that? Last one. The league-leading Winnipeg Jets go for their 12th win in a row tonight. Do you like their chances?
They beat Ottawa last night. Then they got a back-to-back in Nashville tonight, but they're only 1-4 in back-to-back. So upset is possible.
That's all they are?
Streak buster.
Back-to-back?
It's possible.
Do they do load management in that league with back-to-back? We're out of time. We'll try to be better the next time, and I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Lobon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts. No load management.
No load management in that league. Again, these are new glasses. What do you think?
Oh.
This is the third day I'm wearing them. What do you think?
I thought you got a second pair that weren't
I haven't
owlish.
worn them yet.
Can we get the debut of the second pair?
Next week.
The bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon, are you confident Travis Hunter can excel at both wide receiver and cornerback in the NFL?
Tony, confident? No. No, it's asking so much. If he does it, my God, I mean, praise will be coming, and deservedly so. Look, there's a couple people that didn't actually know about this, and I was just thinking, in that game show, if you get to phone a friend and ask him about this question, there's Dion, who I could call Dion.
Yeah.
Could also call Roy Green, who actually he was all pro, all right, at receiver. He was drafted into the league and played corner first, and he had like 4 interceptions and 8 starts one year. Roy Green could play that position and would have stayed double digits in the league just at corner. Got switched over to wideout, all pro. And he did both, and yet you could say, yes, I'm confident that I know someone who's done this. But since then, Roy did this 40 years ago. Nobody's done it.
I'm not confident you can excel at both.
Right.
Pro football is a lot better, a lot more skilled, a lot harder than college football. In college football, maybe your natural talent takes over and you can play multiple positions. Pro football is, where is the practice time going to go from?
There isn't.
You cannot just walk out there in the pros without any practice time. A couple of years ago, if you remember, you said that Shohei Ohtani was going to have to choose between pitching and hitting. You made that point. You were wrong about that. We were all wrong about that. I'm going to go back to that position here, though, for the first 2 or 3 seasons. I'm going to say he's going to have to play one and not both.
Where's his value? Where's the greater value?
I would start him on defense.
At corner.
Oh, I would start him on defense.
The plays he made for Colorado at corner.
Yes.
Game-changing, offense-wrecking plays says that.
I would start him there, and then if he excelled and he came to me and said, I want to give me a chance, I give him a chance on the other side.
And by the way, since I said that, Shohei hasn't really pitched because he's been hurt. And part of the reason I said you can't do both is that physically is too taxing.
Are you going to take the position again?
I took it once.
You're going to take it again is what I'm asking.
I took it once until we see something else.
Again.
Babe Ruth, until we see something else.
He's going to take it again. That's so crazy.
That's it. We're done. Back to you.